So, chapter 16 talks about sole proprietorships and the advantages and disadvantages. The advantages are there's ease in formation, total control belongs to one individual, and they're subject to less government regulations. And disadvantages are personal liability for both personal and business assets. Ownership cannot be transferred, and individuals pay all taxes on profits made by the business. It talks about some cases. It talks about situations that terminate a partnership, which is a resignation of a partner, mergers with other businesses, bankruptcy, and expiration of a partnership agreement. Talks about dissolution and winding up. Dissolution prevents any new business from taking place after the initiation of termination proceedings. And winding up is completing all unfinished transactions, paying off outstanding debts, distributing assets, and dividing remaining profits. Talks about advantages and disadvantages of a partnership. Some of the advantages are that the costs are relatively small. The tax is usually not levied on the partnership itself, and it allows for a wide variety of profit sharing and operational agreements. And the disadvantages, some of them are does not have perpetual existence, and each partner has limited liability, and partners are taxed on their share of the partnership profit. And it talks about limited liability, limited partnership, which is liability is the same for a general partner as for a limited partner. And it talks about internet franchising. From the franchisor's perspective, it's exclusive territorial clause granted to the franchisee is lost if the franchisee can market goods from its website, and from a franchisee's perspective, its websites are a cheap and conventional method of marketing. And then chapter 17 talks about corporation, which is a legal entity created by state law, which raises capital, the issue of stocks to its investors. Talks about the creation of corporations and how they're governed by state law. Talks about debt financing and types of debt instruments, notes, bonds, debentures, I think, which are unsecured long-term corporate loans. Talks about equity financing, which is raising operating capital through the sale of stock, equities, securities, or stock options. And then talks about the primary classes of stock: common stock, preferred stock, and stock options. Talks about the types of preferred stock, which are cumulative, participating, liquidation, and convertible. Talks about consideration, which is something of value in return of which stocks and warrants are issued. It talks about par value, which is the face value of a stock or bond. It talks about the role of the shareholders, which is they can vote at the shareholders meetings. Any shareholder may engage in proxy solicitation, and a proxy is a document that permits shareholders to transfer their rights to vote at a shareholders meeting to a second party. Talks about limited liability company, which is a hybrid corporation partnership, which is similar to a subchapter S corporation but with fewer restrictions. And some of the characteristics are that it's criminally and civilly liable for violations of law. Owners are under a limited liability, and it's a separate legal entity under state law that can be sued and enforce contracts. And that's pretty much it.